Okay, well that sucks. I lost the second video that I did. I was trying to do it in automatic upload. Anyway, the next part is just that, you invoke a lot, and what has been frustrating to me is you invoke a lot of the doubt, which I as a skeptic invoke doubt about things that need to be doubted. Fine. But there's a big difference in I think the way we're trying to use that. I, so far from you, hear you doing that so that you can go ahead and say, so therefore I can believe what I want. And the point is, you can believe what you want, but it's supposed to have some relationship to the real world. You and I are both trying to derive some truths from natural philosophy. So we have to look back to nature, right? And I'm saying things have to be evident from nature. So that's the difference, is that I'm not saying we don't know and therefore anything goes. I don't believe that. We don't know, so let's go with what we do know. And you keep invoking that, well, what we know might be turned around. You might think the sun goes around the earth, turns out it doesn't. But the thing is, whatever we see going on has to be like some special case of the general solution. You know, the of course you can't dismiss appearances, and it seems to me that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to say, well, the appearances could be wrong in the future, so we might as well just dismiss them now. But the Earth orbiting the sun as a theory doesn't dismiss what we see, the sun rising. It explains perfectly well the sun rising, and that's the point. It's like a special case solution where you solve celestial mechanics from my point of view using my coordinate system. That special case, the sun is going around me. Okay, and we don't think of it as the way it really is happening. You can talk about, well, it appears to go around me, but you know, it's explained. What we've seen doesn't go away. It's taken into account. What happens is you find a general case that explains your special case. Okay, so that's what you have to do. You have to explain why we're seeing time. You can't go, oh, well, we don't know what mass, how mass happens. Yeah. So, but you're trying to say that time is stopping. You need to make a relationship to how come we see it. I know that it is possible to take a cross section of the miniverse and get a phenomena of time out of it. Why? Because I am such a cross section and I see time, so it's possible to get that appearance out of the situation. There's some way to take it, a cross section of the complicated thing. Now, it's very hard to simulate time, a parametric kind of dimension, without time. So in the whole flatland thing, for example, okay, the sphere intersects the plane. I'm just assuming you're familiar with it. It becomes a circle, and you have different sizes by intersecting the plane. Fine. So that's a way of pointing out that, look, you have change in the size. It isn't really change. The thing's really a whole sphere. But you don't get rid of time, because time is how you change the cross section. So it's actually easy to relatively easy to think about how this might work in spatial dimensions, because we have that metaphor going from 2 to 3 dimensions. But it's not so easy in time, because time is the parametric dimension. That's what you use in order to talk about the illusion of change. You have spatial reality. You still need time. Okay. You said, again, about, you know, not agreeing with people that cling to some sort of absolute truth. And you said about absolute truths, okay? So, I'm challenging you because we share a lot of the fundamental principles. This is how this tends to go. I'm harder on people that share principles with me that I have drawn conclusions from that they disagree with. Why? Because I'm pretty confident in my logic. So I'm saying, look how these things tie together. You know, So that's what I mean by, I wish you would look at a particular thing, because, um, I'm just trying to figure out exactly how you're using skepticism. I hope it's not just that sometimes people use skepticism, and I don't get this idea from you, but just a hint of this is what I'm trying to find out. Sometimes people use skepticism to say, well, everything that everybody else is saying is doubtable, therefore I'm free to make up anything I want. And as I said, you are free to make up anything you want, but if you're a natural philosopher, which if you're going to try to use physics as support for your ideas, then you're a natural philosopher, then it has to be linked to nature. That means there has to be evidence. We can't make conclusions based on the fact that it's logically possible to get evidence in the future. Okay, but anyway, cheers. Don't let it get too frustrating. It's not past the line. I just noticed this stuff, so uh, I don't want to. I don't want you to feel I'm being condescending. On the other hand, I don't really want to have to back off either, because I think this is serious stuff, and I think, I think in the extreme statement of it, you may be misusing skepticism, and I think that you also have not a secret or evil ulterior motive, but there's some motives that we really have to get down to, and I've noticed you feeding that back to me. Well, why do you? What's your motive, Piero? And that's fine, because I'm all about the motive, because my philosophy is drawn from motive and will, you know. So, I want to go into my motives. But in terms of that, I mean, you have this motive to think that you can manifest reality in some way, which a material universe, uh, idea of a material universe may contradict, right? So you're trying to preserve a power of freedom that you think you have, that of course, if you were explicit about it, I'll ask you to demonstrate it. And if you can't demonstrate it, then I'll question it. Well, I'll tell you in advance, I would go through that in that case, but, I also don't think you need to demonstrate it. If you have perceptions in your life that convince you that you have some ability or knowledge or whatever but that you can't demonstrate to me, but you've demonstrated to yourself, that's fine with me. I endorse that. There is a scientific method for individuals. If you look at our relationships in our lives, obviously I'm only one experiencing my side of my relationship with my cousin. I still have knowledge about it, even though I can't demonstrate it to you, or or if I can, if it's something I can't demonstrate, I still know how I feel, those emotional feelings. So you could have a scientific or theory like that, but to share it and to really, I don't know, to be skeptical about it, and I guess that's part of it. If you're going to use the skeptical tools of doubt and stuff, then I really, I don't know, I guess I have a vested interest to sort of keep that all on the up and up. And I just think you're asserting too much about time stopping and stuff. And, the heart of these two videos is this issue between the difference of something that has to grow to a light speed, has to grow its speed to light speed, versus light, which spontaneously goes to light speed. The fact that the former would have to use infinite energy, and the latter obviously does not use infinite energy to accomplish that.